How's it going, everybody? So I picked up Justice League #1, and it's got an interesting feel to it. This is maybe the 4th or 5th Justice League reboot, relaunch, era change that I've witnessed. Because it started off with me, I read Justice League around the time of Identity Crisis, which it was an event book, but it wasn't a crisis. It wasn't like the crisis as it would be known now, where it's like the worlds are in danger, the multiverse is coming into play and all that stuff. So this is back before Infinite Crisis, which was the kickoff to everything not working, or changing it up, retrofitting and all that stuff. So Justice League #1, I think is going to have 2 threads going throughout the run. In that the main thread is going to be the Justice League themselves, and the other thread is going to be the Legion of Doom. And I don't know how I feel about this, because right now it feels kind of like been there, done that, in that I watched, not when they first came out, but on the channels that I've watched, Cartoon Network and Boomerang, they played Justice League. They played Hong Kong Phooey. They played the Hanna-Barbera classics, the Wacky Racers, all of them, Scooby-Doo. So when I see that Justice League has everyone being all chummy together, and it's not like it was when Jeff Johns and Jim Lee rebooted it. It's not like the Brad Meltzer run on Justice League. I'm trying to think of how many other Justice Leagues I've seen. I'm not even going to count the JLA Classifieds and the what was the other JLA book that was like more anthologies. So this Justice League has the Hall of Justice. They have Martian Manhunter having a psychic connection between all of them. So it's sort of like the last 5 or 6 years. I mean, if you didn't know what just happened right before, you wouldn't really know what's going on. Like, it just like long-time readers would probably pick up this book and it's like, oh, they're starting up the Justice League, like, again. So it opens on, I don't even know what it opens on, because it's definitely like giving nod to the fact that No More Justice happened, and that there's something came out of the source wall, and it was coming after Earth. And like, it's setting up all these mysteries. It's like, it's setting up what hits Earth, which is going to be, I don't know, like, resolved in the next couple issues. Then it sets up the Legion of Doom mystery, where, like, there's multiple mysteries in the Legion of Doom plot, because it sets up the attic of the Legion of Doom headquarters, and it sets up the basement of and who's ever prisoner there. I don't know who it is. All I know is that there's somebody in there that Luthor has. I'm not going to spoil, like, certain things, but it's everyone, like, the Legion of Doom itself is everyone's, like, enemy. Like, let's see, I actually have a copy of another book I'm reading. I know there's an ad for Justice League in the pages of it, so I'm going to see if I can spot who's in it based on, yep, it is Gorilla Grodd, it is Cheetah, it is Black Manta, is Joker, it is Luthor, and it is Sinestro. So it is everyone's arch nemesis. That is the Legion of Doom, and that works. I mean, give me interesting, but like the thing that annoys me about comics today, and the nostalgia factor of, it's like, okay, we're old enough to remember how things were years ago. Like, we're aware of ourselves. I don't know what it was like back in the old days, because I think there was less writers overall. So when you have what the hell was his name? The former editor-in-chief, like the guy that took over for Stan Lee at Marvel. When you have that guy who worked across the street at DC Comics under Mort Weisinger, and part of the reason why he left DC was because Mort Weisinger was such a overbearing, pain in the ass person to work for, that I don't know, like, to what extent it was abusive, but like by today's standards, it was abusive. So that guy, and like guys like Paul Levitz, and like there's a generation of comics writers and artists that were, I want to say writers more so, there was a generation of writers that were fanzine writers. They had comic book fan magazines, like Paul Levitz, this guy's name I can't remember. They came in, and I can't speak to their entire body of work. All I know is they were fans of the characters, and they got to write the books. Then you have guys that like want to tell new stories, like and I can't even say like the old guys, like I can't say whether or not they relied on things that they read before. They liked the characters, and I think they wrote the characters the way that the characters are, like, most like they're more reverent, I would say. See, the guys that created like the characters that we love, they didn't have the reverence for them as we do now. Don't get me wrong, Superman was a big selling book, and I think Batman was like right behind him, like in the old days. But they just threw whatever at the wall and hope it stuck. I mean, so Justice League, it's not that I'm not interested in it, and I love Chueng's art, so that right there is going to be worth me checking it out on a regular basis. But the things I love about this issue were like the interactions with each other. Everyone doing a Batman voice was priceless. I missed a couple of them because like I wasn't paying as good attention as I should have. But when Wonder Woman drops the goddamn Wonder Woman line, like in I don't know, like joining in, and then like hinting that Superman has the best Batman voice. That, and it's a 2-page spread. Like, I just love that. Like, it's like it's things like that that make me want to like further invest in it, just because like I don't know what's going to happen in this book, and if I don't know what's going to happen, that makes me interested. Because me buying books nowadays involves two things. Do I know what's going to happen? No? Okay. Do I want to know what's going to happen? Yes. I buy the book. If I don't know what's happening, and I don't know, like, if I don't want to buy a book after I've read something, that just speaks to either the nature of the story that they're telling, or because there's one book right now, like, it's too pretty not to buy, but at the same time, like, I'm being like patient, and I'm giving it one story arc. I'm giving it the 5 or 6 issues that like, I'm not sure if I'm in it right now. Like, there's a couple of books I've read in the past where it's like I'm not sure I want to know what's going to happen. Like Joe Casey had a series called Sex, and the first arc was great. Then the second arc, I was like, I don't know if I want to know what's going on here. Like I'm not gonna like spend $4 a month to find out if I like the story or not. What I'm going to do though is like that one, for example, I would recommend it. Like, the guy's like an incredible writer, and the art was great, but I'm gonna wait till it's on trades. I'm gonna wait till I have options. Like, if it's on Comixology on Limited, I'm reading the hell out of that, and then I'm gonna decide if I'm gonna buy the books, because I believe in having your own library and all that stuff. You should be able to show people what you've read in your life. So, Justice League, I definitely want to read it. I'm going to buy the next few issues. I'm going to see how it goes. What I'm hoping to see out of this book is if the Legion of Doom is going to be its own team inside the Justice League book. If that is the case, where we're going to show people how the Legion of Doom, because that's the overarching mystery of, like, we're in a situation right now where we don't know how to fix it, but there's multiple like approaches going on. Because I think it's the case right now where the Legion of Doom is going to be trying to solve the problem that the Justice League is working on as well. And here was another thing about this book. There are multiple timelines mentioned, and I don't know how this is going to work, because, like, one timeline was 5,000 years from now, another timeline was 85,000 years from now, another timeline was 5,000 years ago, and another timeline before that was like 80,000 years ago, or 85. Like, large numbers. Like, and it's the same event each time. And there was this one section of the book where it's like people that are immortal or just around, like, very old, and they're discussing the events that's going on, and I'm curious about what it is, because they're saying it's not something that they can do about it, but I have no idea. All I know is, like, I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen next, and I'm going to go from there. So, alright, everybody, peace.